So that's what we, and then we have to take it. So I gave you this meeting to you on the calendar, but still with my
Oh, with your
you
Zoom
have
ID?
to,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So this is the UX research product sync for the testing group, December 6th. So the agenda items I wanted to talk through today is just get a status on where we're at with the items in problem and solution validation. And then Juan, I feel like our discussion last week was really great about the 12.6 and 12.7 design items. I don't think we have much that's changed out of that, but we can get Lori up to speed at the end. But I thought problem and solution validation would be good ones to leave her in on early in the meeting. So in the agenda, yesterday I did a Canvas review with Scott and Christine and Jason for accessibility. They thought it was a great canvas. I've linked to the recording of the review if you want to go and watch it, so you can see what questions they asked, how I presented the problem. But the TLDR is we got the green light to move into solution validation. And so I think the next steps are going to be for you and I to do a user story mapping session on what that looks like from a commit through fix is basically the path I want to take with that, and start to slice out and validate some solutions through those slices, starting with just a super simple iteration that we can get out hopefully in the January release. So that's the update on accessibility. So that'll be moving into solution validation. I'll flip the workflow label on that after this meeting. On the load testing side, we've only been able to interview, I think, 2 folks so far, is what I'm remembering. It's been probably 2 weeks we've done an interview. I came in the development room yesterday, but we're still looking for more load testing folks. I'm going to ping Darren, the product manager for the runner team, and talk to Elliot and see if we can pull one of their engineers in to have a chat, if not a couple, to do another interview and get more information on the load testing problem space, so that we talk to both the developer persona and the QE persona for that problem. And then I have in here what's up next, but really I'm just focused on those 2 for now. The thing after that I think that we'll work on though is usability and visual review tools, and going back and revalidating or going back to customers that we talked to before that came out, to talk about how they're using it and gaps that still exist within that area. I just don't think that we're getting a lot of traction on that feature. I still need to dig in with Periscope and get some usage numbers. But that's what I'm thinking is the next thing for us to tackle from a testing perspective, problem validation area. So I blazed through those pretty quick, but any questions on those 3?
Yeah, for the for the usability piece that you just mentioned, are you thinking like 12.7 for that?
I think probably beyond that.
Okay.
We'll probably do a couple cycles of solution validation in 12.7 and 12.8, and then come back to visual review tools.
So basically, we want to have some kind of design in 12.7, right?
For which one?
For accessibility.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the next steps are do that user story mapping and then start to prototype design that we can use in a solution validation interview. And we'll want to try to fast track that if we can, depending on your availability to do that design work. But I'll work on scheduling a user story mapping session for you and I for next week sometime, hopefully.
Sounds good. All right, yeah.
James, is there anything else that is in need of any sort of problem validation research for 12.7 or 12.8 or even 12.9?
I think in 12.9 is when we'll start talking about how do we go dig deep on the usability stuff. I feel like we have a good handle on the system testing. Integration testing is out there. It's going to be beyond that. unit testing and code quality, we have a backlog of items that we're working through. Trying to remember all the other teams. Load testing, we're working through the problem validation now. Accessibility, we're working through the problem validation now. Web performance is just hanging out for now.
Okay.
I'm forgetting a category, but yeah, those are the ones that I've been thinking about.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that just helps me.
Yeah, I think that after we get through the accessibility stuff, the next problem deep dive would be in that visual review tool space, to really see what's going on there. And part of the reason I say that is we've launched it and we're just not seeing traction. So we want to better understand the space and iterate in a way that moves us forward. And that on the design side, I know that the product manager over there is really moving quickly in her area. And there's a lot of overlap between doing design and design review before things are built and then doing the visual review after. And anywhere where we can line up capability or reuse interface or learn from interviews that each other does, I think it's going to be a force multiplier for us.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect.
Cool. Juan, does that timeline all make sense from your perspective?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I was just thinking about the designs, like the timeline, actually producing designs for that. So I think the next step for me is definitely once we do the user story mapping, I think I'll also put into things for accessibility. I think there's definitely more opportunities that on that last thing that you just mentioned, the visual review. So I probably would like to dig deeper with you about that. So how those things like resonate in our next milestones.
Okay.
But yeah, I know that Scott has been working on the visual. First thing that I did, he's actively working on that. So yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens out of that because there's several improvements there. I'm also seeing that mobile testing validation. That's are we gonna is that like backlog for a while?
The mobile testing validation item. Yeah, we might, for some of these, we might do is do some surveys or something where we touch on a couple of different potential problem spaces and figure out what the expectation is, where there is potential big impact of solving those problems, where there's not problems where we think there are, to help flesh out or help order help with deciding the order that we tackle these problems in, of validating them, and then adding to that list of here's problems that customers are having. Lori, have you done a quantitative/qualitative survey like that with any other groups?
Yeah, I've helped set some up, just because I've kind of stepped back from doing my own research this last milestone. But yeah, Monitor has done one. They got like 200 and something responses. And I'm helping, Package has done one as well, Tim and Ian. And then I'm also helping Orit in Release to her and Jackie to put one together on executable run books.
Okay.
So yeah, we've done a few. The key is just getting those responses, and it can be difficult sometimes depending on what you're trying to get. But yeah, what I tend to like to do is to do the survey first, see what kind of answers we get, see what kind of trends we're seeing, and then maybe do some qualitative interviews to dive into maybe the whys. So for Jackie's survey, we actually have a question at the bottom. We are looking to talk to people about release management. Would you be interested? So they actually can put their name and email in so we can contact them at a later date if we want to. Yeah, so we can totally do something like that for you guys.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. And so those all seemed like they were pretty single topic surveys without more broad topic, like here's areas that we're interested in moving next. what's
Yeah.
your expectation around? Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just that's just
Well,
what I've been doing here. So
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, yeah, I'll start to formulate some ideas around the problems that we want to dig into. I think after the new year would be a good time to send that out, as there's going
Yeah.
to be people so
I
busy
think so
and out
too.
of the office and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, cool.
how can I help you with that? Like, should I just jump into validation items and then like capture some of the things that I think we should find out? Yeah, I'm curious what would be the best way.
Yeah, if you want to add comments or add context to any of those validation items in the backlog, feel free.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, and then I
All
had
right.
I was just curious about the blocked ones. There's two blocked workflow items. Uh, One that says track how often people use the generic metric type in merge requests and remove. Wait, something happened here. Remove override.
All right. Items that are in a blocked workflow state. Is that what you're
Yeah,
looking at?
yeah.
In which milestone?
Let's see. Uh, they they don't have milestones.
Oh, no milestone?
Yeah, they are like milestoneless.
They're group testing items.
Yes, they are.
Do they have the workflow blocked label on them?
Yeah, I'll put them in the chat so you know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Maybe they just have the block because of reasons, but so there's this one, and then there's this one.
Yeah, okay. I don't know why those are blocked, but I will look into those and see.
Oh, so basically this precedes you, right? Like this has been blocked since before your time.
And it looks like this metric one got updated a month ago.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious because.
Yeah, I'll dig into what the blocks are on there.
Okay, cool.
Cool. All right, let's move into the solution validation part of the agenda. Since I find the right tab again. Cool. Selenium CI. So given where we're at in the designs and where we're at in the milestone for 12.6, I'm guessing that this probably slips into 12.7.
So those designs, I mean, you have seen them, right? Like right now, it's complete. I think now it's a matter more of deciding how we're gonna groom that down to like the actual MVC. I didn't have the context, so I went like like the full feature complete version of that. But I think there's gonna be a couple of things there regarding filtering, regarding showing certain values that we show from the beginning. Uh, Drew is who's gonna be working on these, right?
Sorry, my internet's getting a little flaky.
Is
What
it
was your question, Juan?
is it Drew, the engineer, who's gonna be working on these?
I think Drew is going to be working on the back end component. Yeah, I don't know who on the front end yet.
Yeah, I'm more curious about the backend, just to understand a little bit better, like how hard to like achieve like the data abstraction of that, like model of that. So I'll probably speak with him just to create the groomed down version of those mocks. Uh,
Okay.
but I think like I haven't heard like any particular feedback of like, oh, this is not the right thing. I think like my next step was gonna be sending those mocks to Seth, to Paul, and the other participants that we recruited for our solution validation, and do like a quick follow up with them, like
Okay.
just to get their feedback and thoughts. And yeah, that was kind of like my plan. I don't. I'm actually curious about that, Lori. Like, we did a solution validation for this, and now we have these signs that we want to revalidate. Uh, is that still part of the solution validation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because you really, I don't know, I do not want to add another label to our whole label forest, but it's really refinement. You're
Okay.
refining the solution, but you are still validating it.
Okay. Okay. Cool. That's perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
probably what I'm gonna do from that is get back to them and then re-update the items that are related to that with the result with like their feedback, their new feedback. So,
Cool. Would you want to do a user story map session to walk through to help kind of figure out where the slices are? Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Let's get one of those together then as well. We'll try to bring Drew into that too, I think,
Yeah.
or maybe Zeph, and talk
Yeah.
through the steps that they're taking to do
Yeah.
that testing, that review,
Yeah. I think
and
that
how
was
we can
pretty
slice.
helpful. So I think we should do more of those. I think that really helped us kind of like understand the problem well. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Cool. Okay. And then obviously the things that are up next after Selenium CI are going to be accessibility and load testing once we get load testing out of the problem state. So I had added a question here about if we can leverage a survey or other quantitative methods to validate those solutions in the discussion. And if you watch the video from the accessibility canvas review, we actually talked through a little bit of what the next step is in the solution validation. And that being that you do the user story mapping, you do the design with your designer, and then that goes through a design review. And that's kind of the equivalent of the canvas review from moving from problem to solution, moving from solution to build. And so as part of that solution validation, then Christine and Scott are also expecting that we do go back and talk to either the same or additional customers that we validated have the problem that we initially or that we've checked that they have the same problem, and that we present them with a solution and say, we think that the solution gets you to the outcome that you want when you face this problem. And so we'll want to tackle that or do go through those steps with the accessibility canvas and our accessibility MVC. I think for a Selenium solution, we can kind of short circuit that. We don't need to go through that formal process just because we've already been working outside of it. But for future big stuff like load testing and accessibility testing, we'll want to follow those steps.
Yeah,
Cool. Any other questions on the items and solution validation?
I think for load testing, I was curious, like, should we also start like thinking about? Uh, no, actually, that's not the question. What's your timeline for load testing? Like right now, we're still looking for more participants. So,
Yeah. I wouldn't worry too much about the timeline. We want to focus on getting getting more folks into the interviews and making sure that they understand the problem. And so I'll reach out to Darren today and repin the development channel to try to drum up some more folks who want to talk about this problem space to make sure that we have a good understanding.
right. Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool. All right. Anything else y'all want to talk about? I've pretty much driven the agenda today.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Thank you very much, James.
Yeah, this is great.
Like probably the things that you mentioned, like that you had here, were the same things that I wanted to discuss. So I think we probably should look this way. You know, we just go through like what the things that were problem validation, solution validation, and the things that are already defined, and then like talk about those.
Right. Well, it looks like I have a couple of to-dos to schedule some user story mappings. I'll try to get those done today. I'll get them done next week, though, scheduled at least by Monday, though, Juan, so that we know when we're going to do those and we can keep moving forward. And then I will ping the folks I mentioned about additional participants for load testing. And then probably not by next week, but by the week after, if we have this meeting that week, we'll have some sort of working doc or a working issue of the survey that we want to roll out in January around the testing space.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, just open a research issue for that, James. So it'll be in that repo. And what I'll do is I'll just start a document based on what we've used in the past with the other surveys, so you guys can see, and I'll share a couple of the other ones with you too, so you can see how we do that. It's not rocket science, but sometimes it's nice to see an example of what's been done. And yeah, sounds good.
Anytime I can copy previous efforts, I am.
Oh yeah.
Thumbs up on that. Yeah.
Totally.
All right, great. Cool. Well, we are done and right on time. Looks like we are on time. Cool. Juan, can you upload this or send it my way, and I'll get it up to Unfiltered?
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. Thanks. Have a great weekend, everybody.
All right. Yeah, you too. Bye.